The 80s were all about excess. Big hair, fast cars, greasy food, and so forth. Someone asked me a while ago about what movie I thought best embodied the excessive spirit of the 80s. At first, I said, The Garbage Pail Kids. The person that asked me stared blankly at me for a minute, and then walked away. After thinking for a bit longer, I decided the better answer would have been an excellent movie called The Hidden. The Hidden's a 1987 action sci-fi horror film from director Jack Shoulder. Shoulder directed Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, the awesome Wishmaster 2, the TV movie Generation X, and he was one of the unlucky people that tried to fix the MGM fuck-up supernova. He also gets a +1 for being from Philly. The movie starts off with a bank robbery. That's Chris Mulkey from Time Rider as the bank robber. He kills a bunch of guards and escapes in this sweet-ass Ferrari. To further cement how awful this guy is, he runs over a cripple. God, can you imagine putting something like that in a movie now? There'd be all kinds of people protesting. Calm down, people. He's the bad guy. He does bad things. The police set up an armed roadblock to stop the guy. Oops, this guy fired a little bit early. They unload their weapons into the car, and strangely the guy gets out and walks despite being riddled with bullets. The car explodes and he's taken to the hospital. While at the hospital, we find out what an awful person he was.
He killed 12 people, wounded 23 more, stole 6 cars, most of them Ferraris. Robbed 8 banks, 6 supermarkets, 4 jewelry stores, and a candy shop. 6 of the ones he killed, he carved up with a butcher knife. 2 of them were kids. He did all that in 2 weeks. If anybody deserves to go that way, it sure in the hell was him.
Back at the police station, we're introduced to FBI agent Lloyd Gallagher, played by K.D. Lang impersonator Kyle MacLachlan. He teams up with Sergeant Tom Beck, played by Michael Norrie, to investigate the bank robbery. In the hospital, the bank robber gets up, and we discover something is not quite right. The guy has this parasite that lives in him that transfers to the body of this old guy, Jonathan Miller. You know, after seeing this, I'm really surprised this movie wasn't more popular in Japan. So now that the parasite's in Miller, the first thing he does is rob a record store. The cops find out that the bank robber's dead, and Beck thinks the case is closed. Gallagher tells them they need to find Miller. They make their way to the record store that was robbed, and Beck is pissed. Miller's in a diner loading up on some really greasy food. He sees a Ferrari and runs after it. Miller was in the hospital for heart surgery, so all this running and greasy food is making the body fall apart. He makes it to the Ferrari dealer.
I need the keys.
Give him the keys.
Hey, man, I just signed the paper.
Give him the fucking keys.
Thank you. Bye.
Miller heads to the house of the guy in the white suit, who was an arms dealer. He loads up on weapons and heads out to have a really good time. Unfortunately, he needs a new body, because this one's falling apart, and it's trying to push the parasite out. Beck invites Gallagher over for dinner. We find out that Gallagher's wife and kid were killed by the man who killed his partner. Cut to Miller at a strip club, with the lovely Claudia Christian up on stage dancing. Miller's leaking all over the bar, and decides he wants to take over the stripper, Brenda Lee Van Buren. Van Buren leaves the strip club in a fantastic dress. She runs into this guy and fucks him to death. Excellent use of music here. Beck and Gallagher track down Van Buren and have a huge shootout that finally culminates on the roof of a department store. Van Buren takes a number of bullets and then jumps off the roof. The police lieutenant's dog finds the body, and the parasite takes him over. At this point, the whole movie changes gears. It goes into this first-person perspective, and it's kind of weird.
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! Bacon, 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 bacon! There!
There you go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! Nom, 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 nom! It's bacon!
Gallagher confides in Beck about the alien parasite. He explains how he has this weapon that can kill the parasite, but only when it's between bodies. The parasite is also the thing that killed Gallagher's partner, wife, and kid. Beck doesn't believe him and throws him in prison. Back at Lieutenant Masterson's house, the dog knocks him over and takes over his body. Masterson heads to the police station and takes Beck as a hostage. Beck gets away and has Gallagher released. That's Danny Trejo as one of the prisoners. They get into a shootout with Masterson, and he nearly kills them.
Bye.
Masterson managed to get into the body of Willis, who was Beck's old partner. When the parasite was in Masterson's body, he found out that presidential hopeful Senator Holt was going to be nearby. Beck and Gallagher try to stop him, but in the process, Beck gets shot. So the parasite tracks down Holt, kills his guards, and manages to transfer into him. Gallagher knows Holt is delivering a speech, and goes to put a stop to him once and for all. He torches him with a flamethrower, and when the parasite's escaping, he blasts it. Gallagher goes to see Beck and sees that Beck's dying. He then uses his life energy to heal Beck, and he dies. A very sad ending for such an over-the-top action flick. There was a sequel in 1993 that was just awful. Apparently, the parasite from the first movie laid eggs, and you know what, just forget it, it blew. Shoulder was asked if they actually destroyed a Ferrari in the film. They did, sort of. They had 4 altogether for the opening sequence. One was just a shell, one was in good condition that they used for the close-ups, and 2 others were beat up that they used for the crashes and the explosion. There was a really subtle tell in the movie. Whenever the parasite was enjoying himself, we'd see him do this with his tongue. It's nothing really special until they get the dog to do it. That's really cool. The alien parasite just wanted to do whatever felt good. It took whatever it wanted and destroyed anything that got in its way. Holy shit,